Right.
I can't tell you what I'm not doing. You know, they took a couple of votes. You know, they're asking for things that were for your eyes first, not theirs. So we're not going to be creating reports and opening up books and all that. It's coming here first. So that I won't be doing. I won't be creating documents that we don't have. I don't care how many votes we take, right? So, and then there's things that are being hard copy. You know, some things will be electronic, some things are posted, some things are not. I am not doubling and tripling the work in our office because of people that don't understand how the operations work. I won't be doing that. So unless you direct me to do otherwise, you know, this guy is very busy. Our business office is very busy. You know, we have the auditors here. He's got 3 different budgets. He's got 2 districts. We need to close the books before we open the books. And incomplete reports that go out and spreadsheets that have numbers that are all moved around. It'll be nothing but a mess, so we're not doing that.
Mr. Collins?
Yeah, and I just want to say that there was some suggestion that the board should basically duplicate the process that the budget committee is doing. And that, I just want to make it clear, I think that's a ridiculous situation. It's not necessary. If they just need a blanket approval or recommendation, I'm fine doing that. Maybe even if we needed to formalize it to stay within the law, just after the October presentation, we all meet and vote to recommend what was presented to us. I'd also like to say, while we're on that subject, in watching the meeting, I'm concerned that we have limited resources in this district. Mr. Stokinger is a incredibly valuable person on this team, and if we're going to start creating a situation where he is overwhelmed with things that need to get done before they're available or before he's ready to produce them, I'm worried that we may burn someone out. And if that's the case, if they are saying that we have to do that, then I'd much rather look into hiring an additional person to meet these needs if they refuse to back off. So, and they did vote to in their bylaws remove. Their bylaws stated that they could not meet in the months of May, June, July, and August, and they repealed that. So they just opened up the entire summer when really there aren't many people here in the SAU, where there are auditors looking at 3 budgets through most of the summer. And to have a meeting on top of all that, or need to produce the documents on top of that they're requesting, I think might be a little bit too much for the resources that we currently have. So I think we either need to ask Mr. Blair to maybe ask them to be reasonable with their requests, or that we consider the additional hire of somebody in SAU.
Mr. Sapia?
Yeah, I think to Rob's point, I think we should, when the requests start coming in, I'd like to track those requests and how much time it actually takes us. Because the one thing and you know what, the following year, we can budget for that. You should budget for that. So I think we should start tracking that kind of stuff. I mean, because everyone wants costs to go down, but they do things to increase costs to the SAU. So I like to track it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mrs. Green?
Could I ask Dr. Metzler, what were you not doing? I wasn't clear. What?
We're not creating documents that don't exist.
Such as?
Such as the end of year report before the end of year report is done. That will be done and be in you will see that first. I work for the school board. That's who drives my work, not the budget committee. So I'll take my lead from this group, and I will manage the budget committee and manage the budget on your behalf. But having random reports, out there with numbers all over the place, I'm not going to double and triple the work of Mr. Stokinger at the whim of another committee. I work for the board. The board will drive that work, and you will get that information first.
So the budget committee is an elected body, and the SAU is a service organization to the elected bodies. It isn't the other way around.
You can see it however you want to see it. I'm telling you what's going to happen.
So are you telling me, I'm just trying to understand what you're saying. So are you telling me that the end of year report is not going to be ready in August for them?
No, they want it. George, go ahead.
You want it now?
The request was, and I let the discussion go on until I was addressed. The request was that they have some year-end information in July. And again, when it came to me, and I said, well, the year-end numbers aren't final until at least mid-August, when the auditors leave. And they said, well, that's okay, we don't care, we don't need year-end, we don't need final numbers. We'll take a report from you in July, and they defined the report. It does not exist now. Well, I know what's gonna happen then. And I said, well, my question was, and I'll pose that question here, then what? Because when 9 people get a report, somebody's not gonna have a question? What they stated was, anybody can watch the video, oh, well, we want to be able to alert the presenters in October that we're gonna be watching these particular line items and expect some kind of an explanation. Well, first of all, they don't know whether the next requested budget is going to go up or down or whatever, so they're somewhat spinning their wheels, and they're going to meet sometime during the summer.
I
But
did
they-
not hear that they're gonna meet sometime during the summer. They just expected a report during the summer to be sent out to each budget committee member.
They're gonna come in and pick it up, right?
But they want a
but-
report that doesn't exist because the report isn't,
Right.
until the report's finalized, it's not really valid. There are more questions than there are answers.
I thought I
Well-
did hear them say something about getting together in the summer to,
They were going to meet and decide what line items.
You know, they really never took a decision one way or the other that way. I mean, some said, well, we'll hand out different departments to different people, and each person can work on a different department. And it was all over the place with no decisions made at that point in time.
Except that they wanted information in July, and then they
Yes.
indicated to me they wouldn't bother us until sometime in advance of I will guess myself, say mid-September, where they would come back and say, hey, tell the administrators that we're gonna be watching these line items. Well, I know what's going to happen. Somebody in that time frame is gonna say, hey, what's this line item looks funny? Explain that to me. And, oh, that's not the final number. Well, what happened between July when you gave me a report
Yeah.
and August when the number is final? So, you know,
It will
where does
create-
this end? This
will
is
create
going
more
to snowball.
confusion. It will create confusion.
In my opinion, absolutely.
And create more questions than answers.
Absolutely.
And so I'm just letting you know, it doesn't exist, so I won't be giving it to them.
All right.
So when you hear about it, you're gonna hear, it doesn't exist, so they won't be getting it. That's the simple answer?
I think it's a great
Yeah.
answer, and my goal is to end this meeting before midnight.
Okay.
That is my personal goal.